Hey, what's going on everybody? In today's video I'm going to show you how to create a graphic for one of the devices in your system. So for today's example I'm going to be doing it on a VAV with parallel fan and reheat. So first thing you're going to want to do is locate the file section of your station and right click, go to new and then select PX file and then we'll give it a name. There we go. And then you can open up the file and you'll see it's just a blank canvas. So if you want to start editing, you'll have to hit the pencil icon up top. And now let's get building. So first thing you're going to want to do is open up the palette of your choosing. For today's example, we're going to be using kit px n4 svg. And since it's a VAV, we're going to go select terminal units. And to preview, because obviously you can't tell what is what based off these images, you can preview what they are based off this magnifying lens. So with this selected, I can now see what type of terminal unit it is, and I can try and match it up a little better. So since I have a parallel fan, this will work perfectly. Then I'll drag it on, and as you can see, it's not populating anything because it doesn't have a point bound to it. So to do that, you'll open up your device, locate your parallel fan command or something to that effect. Make sure it's a Boolean writable or Boolean point in general, and then hit OK. There we go. Now we have a basic fan powered box that will start spinning whenever we have a true command. So next let's go and put a damper on here. Then you'll drag your damper over and select from palette, drop down the kit px n4 svg. Then you'll find dampers, and then again, I like to use the magnifying lens. We'll find a round damper. There we go. Now we can drag this onto our graphic, and then let's drag our reheat command over. Let's find a heat coil for electric reheat. There we go. Yeah, that looks great. There we go. We got the main basic things of a VAV, or basic components of a VAV now displaying. You can also grab some other duct work to make this look a little cleaner. Let's find like an end piece. There we go. And then if you drag it, you'll see since this is the latest thing dropped on the PX file, it's going to overtake everything else that's been placed before it. So to counteract that, you can do reorder to bottom. And there we go. So now this looks pretty clean. So let's also add some text on here. Let's add some points. So you can add, and you can do this in mass too, which is very nice. So we'll do space temp, set point, damper position, box. Let's just do it all. You can drag them over, and then you can do the bound label. And here you want to set the text formatting for what they'll output. Out.value will just give you the straight up value, and I kind of prefer that for the situation. So then another thing you'll need to click is make display label. You don't have to do this, you can create your own labels. I just prefer this since we're doing it in mass. You can see what is what right off the bat. And then here on the right side you can change anything about the point or the image on the graphic that you like. So for this I'll change the font to something visible, and I think that's about all for this. So let's hit OK. There we go. So now we have all our labels and we have all our readings, and then you can go ahead and pretty this up however you like. So I'll probably cut this part out. Something to note while organizing this, I figured I'd bring this up. All these display labels, you can change the font sizing in mass, so you don't have to go into every single point and go to font and then change it. You can do it all in one fell swoop. So to do that, you'll highlight all your points in question. Right click, open up edit properties, and then go to font. And then you can change these to whatever you like. And then I also, if you notice, the centering is set to the left, and I'd like this to be in the center. So you'll just click on the H align, hit center, and then hit OK. There we go. Now they are, well, it looks like I missed this one, so we'll do this personally. There you go. Now you have labels that you can read, and you can also highlight them in mass and change the sizing of it so that it fits better. And I'm going to go back to prettying this up. I'll be right back. Another thing to note, you can create new labels just by right-clicking on the page, going to New, and then selecting Label. Okay, and I also forgot to grab over my parallel fan command, my reheat command, occupancies, and HVAC mode, so let me drag these over. And when we bring them on the page, we'll keep the same format text, make display label, we'll change the font to something visible. Another cool thing to note, if you highlight multiple point ORDs at once, you'll see where they're located on the graphic, and you can adjust this so that they all line up however you like based off these top, I guess, tooltips. So if you hover over, you'll see this will organize them all to the left of each other. This will center them all, which I'm going to do, and then you have, to the right, to the top, center vertically, and I think this is bottom. Yep. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so with these basic points and everything I've done so far, I think this is pretty good. I'd like to also add a picture of a thermostat here. So what I'll do is go into my graphics, or my graphics palette, and then drop down sensors, and then I will locate sensors tstat. And these might not line up better. If you have better images that you can pull into your system, that would probably be preferred, but they do provide you some. So I can drag this right on over and it'll populate immediately. And I'll line this up with you. So another thing you can do to liven up your graphics a little bit is if you highlight a point and go into it, you can change the foreground of the image. And I like to do this for like status points. I'll usually make them like blue. And then for set points, I'll make them like green. And you can select them up here, or you can drag around and find it, or you can change the actual number if you know something off the top of your head or something like that. And if you find a color that you really like let's say I found this shade of red, I want to make this something that I don't have to find every time, you can copy the hex, or you can hit the plus button and it adds it to your little fast colors. So for this, we'll make it green. And then there we go. Let's do the same thing for our box flow. And our box flow set point. So that looks pretty good. One more thing I'd like to add is, like a label of the space. So to do that, you can go to your device directly and drag it over. You can create a point to do it, but for this, we'll just drag it over. So we'll drag our VAV right onto the page, and then in the make a widget, you'll want to make sure it's a bound label, and then you can do format text, and instead of out.value, I would like display name. And then I'll make the font something big, because this is going to be the header essentially. 36. Could have probably gone bigger than that. Yeah, we'll go a little bit bigger on that. There we go. Okay. So if you look at this graphic, you'll see this is pretty good. It covers all the bases that I want the customer or any technicians to see about the VAV. Something that would be nice to add is some highlighting so that they can see when they're over top of a point. So to do that, you can click on whatever points you'd like to highlight. And for this, I want all these. You can right click, hit edit properties, and then you'll see mouse over. I'll set this to highlight. And there we go. Now when you hover over, you'll get a nice little display showing you that you're over top of that. One more thing I'd like to add, if you see this damper position here, it's 0%, but it's, well, now it's 100%, and it's it looks closed. So this is a common issue for some of these graphics you'll find. For this damper, the way you would change it is if you double click it and you go into the image properties, you'll just need to change the order in which it displays. So I'll get 4 and I'll drag it to the top. I'll get 3, put that below it, 2, put that above that, you know. And then for the min and max, I'll set the very lowest one to -infinity and the highest one to +infinity. And then I'll go and set these accordingly. And there we go. Now when we're open, we're actually open. Alright, and with that all being said, there's another thing that you can do. So this graphic page, this is perfect. Now, if you copy this into your graphic, the customer can see it. If you would like to make this relativized, so let's say you have multiple devices that all have the same exact point namings and locations, you can make it relativized. And the easiest way to do that would be to go to your specific device, right-click it, go to Views, New View, and then select this image file, or this PX file, and you'll see it right here. And now this puts the graphic directly over top of the VAV. And to make it relativized so that I could just copy this graphic and put it on any VAV, I would hit the pen, and then I would click the relativized ORDS button and hit OK. And here we go. So now if you were to click on any of your points, they'll no longer show the actual ORD, they'll just show you the effective ORD of the device this graphic's attached to. So this is very nice. You don't have to go and make a new graphic for every device. So this about covers everything for a basic VAV. There's a lot more that you can do with graphics, and I've covered that in my other videos, and I'll continue covering that. But I feel like this is something that I should have on here for any new guys that haven't taken the beginner's class. This gives you a quick overview of what to do. So besides that, if you have any other cool tricks or any other ways that you can do graphics that I'm not showing that might be faster and more effective, please feel free to leave them in the comments. But besides that, have a great day.